to the Jamie and Stephen Show. Let's talk movies, music and magic. But this week's episode is a special bonus one because we like to do these as a representation of the era or the decade that we're currently on. And as we are in the Renaissance era, we felt that out of all the films that came out in between and around all those Disney classics, we thought this one would be a really good one to do, and that is a Goofy movie. But this week is going to be a bit different because Stephen isn't here for this episode. He's currently in Disneyland Paris as I'm recording it. So I brought on a guest, one that you've heard before, and hopefully you can tell the difference between us. Welcome to the show, Holly.
Hello.
Yes, for those who haven't listened before, we did a Dawn Bluth bonus episode a few weeks ago, and or it might be a couple of months ago now. And Holly was a guest. We're sisters. I'm the eldest by 3.5 years, and yeah, so she's back. She's visiting at the minute, so I thought I'd get her on the show. Right, a Goofy movie. Yeah, Stephen wasn't too fussed about missing this one.
Yeah.
But it's one because we have boys that we have on quite a lot. I mean, I have to watch this regularly because of Jacob. Can you remember the first time you saw it?
I think it was probably somebody that we've mentioned before. I think it was at Isabel's. I think she bought it on video for Richard. And I remember watching it in her living room.
Yeah, I don't remember going to the cinema to see it.
No.
And I don't think we had it on video.
It was either that or because Grandma and Granda did pay for the Disney Channel. So I don't know if it was maybe on that.
Okay.
But it definitely wasn't in the cinema and it wasn't at our house because we didn't have it on video.
No, we didn't.
But Grandma had the Disney Channel and Isabel definitely had the video.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we probably watched it then. But I don't remember watching it like I did the other films that came out that year, that era.
Yeah.
And I mean, in 1995, which is when it was released, I was 9. You know, you were 5,
Is that
6.
not the year our Disney store opened?
No, that was 97.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, when Hercules came out. Right, so IMDb synopsis. Now, normally Stephen will do his version. But this week it'll just be the IMDb one. So, when Max makes a preposterous promise to a girl he has a crush on, his chances to fulfilling it seem hopeless when he is dragged onto a cross-country trip with his embarrassing father, Goofy. Yeah, that's about sums it up. I have to watch this film a lot. And luckily, it's not a really long film. I've written down it's only an hour and 18 minutes. So it's going back to, you know, almost an hour and a quarter. It's in between. Because as me and Stephen have spoken before in previous podcasts, that they get longer and longer, you know, and the hour and a half is the minimum now that you'll get. But it's almost, you know, close to 2 hours these days for any kind of film. Whereas we feel that an hour and a quarter for some of these is like ideal.
More than enough.
Yeah, especially for children.
Yeah.
And this one in particular, I mean, they couldn't really have made it any longer. It would have been boring.
Yeah.
It's got 6.9 stars on IMDb, which is not bad. I think that's, you know, we'll say 7. I'd say that's...
Yeah, for like a sub-movie.
Yeah, because it's, you know...
It's not a classic.
It's not a classic. There wasn't much promotion.
No.
And the animation is not been done the same.
No.
You know, it's clearly a lot cheaperly done.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, I mean, I don't remember watching it regularly, but Goofy and Max feature in a series called Goof Troop. And this film is apparently set 5 years after Goof Troop finishes. But I think Goof Troop was still playing when this came out, but
there's a lot of main characters in Goof Troop that for some reason aren't in the movie.
Yeah.
And people don't really understand why.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Right, so, director, Kevin Lima. I didn't recognise the name, but then when I looked into it, I was like, oh,
Yeah, the things that he's done.
Yeah. So he goes on to direct Tarzan 4 years later. 102 Dalmatians, the live action, which, But Enchanted.
Yes, I've got that written down.
Which I was like, oh my God. And me and Stephen are talking about maybe doing this as a bonus episode because, we love that film. And this is his directorial debut. So not bad considering what he goes on to do.
Yeah, because he was just a character designer before and started on The Care Bears.
Oh my God, we used to watch that. Writers. So there were additional writers, but I've written down the main story ones. So we've got Jim Magan, who also wrote for DuckTales, Tailspin, House of Mouse, and loads of other cartoons. That Strawberry Shortcake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote for that as well. Chris Matheson. Now, I recognised the name. And then when I looked at his previous films and what came after, I was like, oh! And he did all the Bill and Ted's.
Oh, okay.
Including the newest one. So he was a writer on that. So that's probably where I know the name. And Brian Pimentel, who did the story, was part of the story team for Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin's live action film as well. So he's still quite current. He's still going. Right, cast. So I've just done the main.
Yeah, I've just kind of concentrated on the first 4 ones.
Okay, and you're going to tell us some facts. A couple of facts about each one. Right, so Goofy is voiced by Bill Farmer. And in case anybody doesn't know, he has been doing Goofy since 1987, and he's also done Sylvester and Yosemite Sam.
That was one of the things that I'd written down, was the fact that he'd voiced Goofy since 1987. And he has starred, but lent his voice to 3 characters in 3 films selected for the National Film Registry. So he does a voice in Roger Rabbit, he does a voice in Beauty and the Beast, and he does a voice in Toy Story.
Oh, wow. What voice does he do in Toy Story? Did you not write it down?
I didn't write it down.
Oh,
I'm just an idiot. It's not one of the main toys. I've got a feeling it's maybe an army soldier or something. I'll look it up. But it's I don't think it's one of the main ones.
No. But yeah, and he does the, circuits, where you can meet him.
Oh,
like Comic Cons and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And I know that the 2017 Disney Expo, they did a panel on the Goofy movie, and he was there with...
Was that for some sort of anniversary?
Yeah.
Was that the big anniversary one that they did?
Max Goof is voiced by James Marsden. And he's Zachary Binks.
He is. I've got that written down as well.
From Hocus Pocus.
Yeah. And I've got down that he plays the pocket gay in Will and Grace.
Oh, in Will and Grace? That's right, he does.
Yeah.
Because he's so little.
In the pumpkin picking episode.
Yes.
Yeah. And Jack's like, what you have there is a pocket gay. A pocket gay? What's a pocket gay? He's a little gay that once you're finished with him, you can just put him in your pocket. And off you go.
Yeah, because they cycle, don't they?
Yeah.
And he's got all the gear.
He's a friend of Leo's.
That's right.
And Leo brings him along for Will.
Yeah. Because it's the
pumpkin picking.
Yeah, and it's we don't do things. We say we're going to do
things. We do stuff. And he's like, oh my God. So yeah, that's him. He has done so much.
Yeah.
Mainly voice, and he did TV series when he was younger.
Yeah.
I think one of them was that Step by Step. That was a bit before my time, but it was when the Cosbys and all of them were all sort of out. And did really, really well, but then kind of stepped away from actually being seen and to more
voice.
It was his voice. But he is under what, some people may believe he is not related to James Marsden, but they are really good friends.
Oh, okay.
But no, of no relation.
No.
But yeah, he is really, really successful.
Yeah, and again, I know he does the comic circuit, where he'll do...
Because as for voice acting...
Yeah, he's done loads.
Yeah.
And I can hear it.
Yeah. And
Like,
you're
I'm
like,
oh,
yeah.
that's Max's voice.
And when you look him up, you're like, yeah, I
yeah,
was right.
yeah. Right, Pete. I'd say
Oh, again.
this is probably one of the most famous, voice, actors of our time.
Yeah.
And probably the most famous name on this film.
And wow, how amazing he is able to... Because we've just said, oh, we know Max. We know Max's voice. Where is this guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
And even when he changes the voice, you
Yeah.
can still tell it's him because he's just... So yeah, Jim Cummings.
Mm-hmm.
And you will definitely have seen the name, heard the name.
Might even recognise his face.
Yeah, because he does a lot of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
He loves talking about what he does, and he loves talking about certain characters that he's proud to do the voices of.
Mm-hmm.
2 of which are very famous, and that is Tigger and Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
And I think he's been doing them since the 90s.
Yeah. So he took over the voice of Pooh when the original voice, Sterling Holloway, passed away.
Yeah.
So he's been doing the voice since then. And favourite roles is doing the voice of Pete, Pooh, Tigger, Darkwing Duck,
Yeah.
Raymond from Princess and the Frog.
Frog.
And I didn't have enough time to look up who this Hondu Ohnaka is, but that's another voice that he likes to do.
Okay.
But going by the name, I'm guessing
maybe
it's
Star
maybe...
Wars?
Yeah.
Is that Star Wars or...
Because obviously there's a lot of the Star Wars series animation.
Yeah, I bet
CGI.
you it's Star Wars.
But yeah, and he actually filled in for the singing voice of Scar in The Lion King.
Oh my
He
God.
did bits that Jeremy Irons wasn't able to do. So he's obviously good at mimicking. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we've not recorded the Lion King episode, so I'll have to make sure I put that fact in when we do that. If we've already done the Lion King one and it's been released before this, then, it's just because...
You're going to hear the fact twice.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And I remember seeing an interview, when the Christopher Robin film came out with Ewan McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he did loads of press for that.
Yeah.
And he was asked, about how... Because he's done so much in regards to the voice of Tigger and Winnie the Pooh. Mm-hmm. And he says, oh yeah, he was basically talking about how some things he didn't really enjoy doing, but because, he is Pooh and Tigger, he did them. Mm-hmm. But that live action film is one of the best times and the most enjoyable he's had of doing those voices in a long time.
That's
which
good.
I thought was good. Right, Roxanne, the love interest or his crush, is voiced by Kelly Martin. Now, we know her.
Yeah.
From ER.
Yeah. I've actually written here, Lucy in ER, horrible death that traumatised me as a child.
Yes.
I've written down.
It was. I know ER is no longer on the TV and it was before Grey's, but this was big
huge.
Hospital drama in the 90s and early 2000s. It was huge and we watched it every week.
And this particular episode when she...
Yeah, spoiler alert.
It's just...
it's awful.
I remember how upset we all were.
Yeah, because it was like a 2-part episode and
nothing that grim had really ever been seen.
No, to a character that...
On a TV show.
Yeah, and that a character we liked and it was a regular character as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this is before your Game of Thrones where they're killing off, in the first series, this was like that.
Yeah.
To us.
Yeah.
But she's known now, I think, for this Hayley Dean Mysteries.
Yeah. Again, didn't kind of realise how successful she was. Doing voices. Again, starting on programmes very much the same as Jason Marsden, who did Max's voice. Because she is Taz's sister's voice in, do you remember the Taz series?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I do have just a little fact here that she's always been cast as the best friend and not the lead.
Okay.
So in her older years, she's gone down more of doing her own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I think I've seen a couple of her mystery films, on Channel 5.
Yeah,
because they're more like TV movies.
They're the true movie.
Yeah, type.
Hallmark.
Yeah.
But she's been very successful with them.
Yeah. It's almost, yeah. I mean, that's what I think she's known for now.
Yeah.
Right. PJ Pete is voiced by Rob Paulsen. And he was Raphael in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, but he's also voiced Donatello as well, I think.
He's another one.
Yeah, and Pinky from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
Those were the two where I thought, oh yeah, I watched that. I know them characters.
When I'm watching some sort of animated film and I'm looking up voices,
always
he is a picture that is seen.
Yeah, because he's got glasses.
In the cast a lot.
Yeah.
No, he's got like a bit of a Jeremy Irons look about him.
Yes, he does. That's right.
Yeah. And he's just, along with this Jim Cummings and Bill Farmer, you see their faces in the cast a lot.
Yeah. Right, and then I've got 4 more. So I've got Principal Mazer, who's voiced by Wallace Shawn.
Yeah, you know him. He was from the Clueless series.
And the film.
And he's
in the film. Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And Rex, Toy Story.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, he's been in loads.
Very distinctive voice.
Really distinctive. Like, you can tell it straight away because he has got a bit of a lisp. His look as well.
Yeah.
Because he's so small.
Yeah.
Chad, who is supposed to be...
Yo, with the cheese and everything.
No.
Sorry.
So he's the, jock.
Oh, yes.
Right? That you see during the... After Today.
Is that the one played by Joey Lawrence?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was, well, I've got a fact about that, but yeah. So Joey Lawrence, who we've mentioned before, he was the voice of Oliver in Oliver and Company.
Yeah,
and
I can't
obviously,
believe it.
He was like a huge star.
Yeah. It's 3 brothers.
Yeah. And he's got his own podcast now with them. So, yeah. Possum Park MC. So when they go to the possum. Yeah. And there's the old, man character that introduces it is voiced by Pat Bootram. And this was his last role before he died.
Okay.
So he's the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood.
Yes.
He's done loads. He's in Aristocats. He's the...
Mouse?
The dog.
The dog.
In the haystack.
Oh, yeah.
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 Can you
I'm
envision
the leader.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll say.
Yes.
When it's time to go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's him. So yeah, this was his last credited role. So this
Okay.
is the last one before he died. So yeah, he is I don't think he's an official Disney legend, but he is a legend. He's done loads of voices. And again, so distinctive. And then, Lester, who's in the possum. Who's your favourite possum?
Yeah.
Is the director.
Right. Oh, well.
Yeah,
That's
he
good.
voices that. Yeah, so the friend.
He wanted to be uncredited.
Yeah.
Because he was like, oh, well, I don't want to be typecast and be like, Robin Williams. And it's like,
he
wow.
didn't want them to use him to promote the film, just like Robin
really
Williams.
felt big of yourself.
I know.
Because I think I've seen you in one movie. And I couldn't even tell you what it was about because it was garbage.
I know. What was it again?
Oh, it was some crap
Caveman?
movie in the 90s, yeah.
With Brendan Fraser,
Yeah.
isn't he in that?
Yeah.
Is it Caveman?
Always did. He plays the same person.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know who we're talking about, the character is the friend that's waiting for them that likes the squirty cheese.
Yeah, and he's like doing all the special effects.
Yes.
For Max.
Now, and his voice, the actor is like that, and he plays that voice in all of his roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a nobody, so he really didn't need to worry.
Yeah, his name is Polly Shear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asked for his role to be uncredited.
Yeah. Oh,
well. Which it was.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Right. Music. So there's 5 major songs. I've not bothered writing down the possum song or anything.
No.
Like that. But yeah, so we've got After Today, Stand Out, On the Open Road, Nobody Else But You, and then Eye to Eye.
Yeah.
So After Today, On the Open Road, and Nobody Else But You were written by Tom Snow and Jack Feldman. Tom Snow, who was the music person, so like how Mencken is the music person with him and Howard. Mm-hmm. He wrote Footloose.
Wow.
Yeah. And Jack Feldman, who was the lyricist, wrote Newsies.
I don't like that.
And Thumbelina.
Oh, no, Thumbelina, yeah.
So, yeah. So they did those 3 songs. Mm-hmm. And then Stand Out and Eye to Eye were written by Patrick DeRemer and Roy Freeland and were performed by Tevin Campbell. Now, I looked up Tevin Campbell and, yeah, don't know him.
One hit wonder for Disney.
This.
Yeah.
Apparently he's down as an actor and a singer-songwriter, but...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which is a shame because he can sing.
Damn straight.
But, right, so, facts. So funny enough, my first fact is about Powerline. The character is a mixture of Bobby Brown, Prince, and Michael Jackson. And then, I think as in the look of him. Mm-hmm. But then you were saying...
Choreography came from, like, Paula Abdul videos.
Yeah.
And his logo was inspired by Bowie.
Bowie's Zigzag on the Ziggy album, is it? Yeah. Max's singing voice was Aaron Lore, because Disney wanted a more Broadway style voice.
Yeah. But Jason Marsden in reunions and things has sang the song.
He can sing.
So at least he's gotten to.
Yeah. He just, for the film, they wanted a more Broadway style because obviously at that time that this was made, that was the kind of films, they were making.
Yeah.
The musical Broadway style. Donald Duck originally had a larger role where he played the travel agent. Mm. And apparently there was this scene written out where he was, obviously talking about deals and prices.
Okay.
And Goofy can't understand him and asks if there's anybody else that can help.
Okay.
Obviously running that joke that you can't understand what Donald Duck says, which they do now and again.
Yeah.
Like during the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, they don't make fun of that. But then other things, like in the Musketeers film, Mickey and Goofy Musketeer, that one, they make fun of how they can't understand him in that. So it's one of those jokes that they now and again use. And they were going to obviously use it in this. Yeah, so the inspiration for the film came from...
Yeah, so where did the movie come from?
Yeah.
That Jeffrey Katzenberg, who at the time was the chairman for Walt Disney Studios, was feeling a bit distant from his daughter, and he decided to go on a road trip with her that brought the two closer together.
Yes.
The film was also something that came to Kevin Lima, as he'd had an estranged relationship with his father as well. And then obviously coming up with the whole script and storyline thing, the writer, that Megan, they just watched like loads of road trip movies.
Yeah.
And got inspiration from that. And I've written it somewhere else. Yeah, so it's the fact that they wanted us to see a more emotional side of Goofy. Mm-hmm. They wanted Goofy to start in something where he wasn't just this comic character.
Yeah.
They wanted you to see another side of him as a father.
Yeah, because
that's literally the only...
Yeah, let's be honest, the Goof Troop series is random.
Yeah.
Because...
From what I can remember of it, because it was 1990.
Nothing like what the character is been portrayed in all of...
even anything else he's been in.
Yeah, because even in Mickey's Christmas Carol, he's portrayed clumsy. Because Scrooge has to say, watch out for that step!
Yeah.
And he, avoids the cane, but then he trips over the cane, and... Yeah. So, whereas they randomly chose his character to do a series, and then from that they thought, oh, let's do a film. Mm-hmm. Which, well, yeah. Right, so, the Lester's Possum Pals show is a parody of the Country Bear Jamboree, which, I think is obvious. Apparently they were going to do a scene as well where when they come up to, it's almost like a two-way junction, and one turning is the possum pals, and the other turning was a water park. And he's supposed to go to the water park, but he turns the wrong way and he says the wrong direction and he ends up in the possum. However, they cut that because, as we know, he says to Max how he came here with his dad when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Which is very National Lampoon's Vacation when they go to that, is it Wally World?
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about. It's the fact that he's going back to this theme park that he went to as a kid. Yeah. So they've obviously gotten that from there.
Yeah. The Powerline songs were recorded at Prince's studio in Paisley Park. And Rosie Gaines, a member of Prince's group, has a solo in Eye to Eye. Mm-hmm. And the backup singers were the gospel singers, The Waters. Originally, it didn't do well at the box office, but did very well in video sales and rentals. Mm-hmm. But we said this earlier, we don't really remember. I mean, we didn't go to the cinema to see it.
No. And we were a video rental family.
Yes.
But we definitely didn't rent this.
No. And we were, anything that was Disney, we watched.
Yeah.
And I really don't remember this being in our house. It was originally made around 93. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to be released during the holiday season of 1994. But they had production problems in France, which at first it was like quite vague, and then I did a bit more digging.
Yeah.
And half the film,
it was done in Spain, it was done in France.
All over, yeah. But then half of the film had a black dot on it.
Oh dear.
So it had to be redone. So it was pushed back to 1995 and Lion King took the slot.
Yeah.
So it would have actually been a 1994 release. Mm-hmm. Max's transformation into his dad during the opening nightmare sequence was inspired by An American Werewolf in Paris. We were, obviously, as we've just talked about, that we didn't feel that it was out there when it was first out.
No.
Yeah. We don't really remember campaigns
it being
or adverts.
Yeah.
No.
Merchandise.
There were plans for a strong advertisement push. But because of Katzenberg leaving, those plans were halted. And this is why there's not much merchandise either that came out at the time that the film came out. Because, which me and Stephen have talked about before, when a film came out, especially a Disney film, there was nothing you couldn't buy.
I can't believe there wasn't a bed set.
I know. Well, that's it. We had bed sets. We had lunch boxes, plates, cups, pyjamas.
Yeah. Obviously
everything.
Plush.
And whatever film came out that year, we got everything in all of that stuff at Christmas. Mm-hmm. You know, from Woolworths.
Yes.
Because this was before the Disney store.
Yeah. Woolworths was the place.
But yeah. But apparently in America, I don't remember it being...
They might have done Burger King toys or something.
Yeah, well, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the Burger King toys.
We definitely didn't.
No. Well, we didn't have them anyway. And I mean, I've still got my Lion King ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Lion King ones, sorry. Oh, yeah, right. So, Bill Farmer claimed that he began recording his lines for the film. And Katzenberg wanted Goofy to be speaking in a normal voice. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to put on
the goofy
voice.
Yeah.
I guess he thought that because they were, you know, showing this other side to Goofy, that maybe if he spoke a bit more clearly or normal, that was needed for this particular side to the character. Mm-hmm. But he'd only managed to record a week. And Eisner and Roy Disney heard the recordings and said, no,
this is not Goofy.
But, like, you've watched that Waking Up Sleeping Beauty. I mean, this was obviously another thing that, you know, Katzenberg was trying to take charge and be in control of. And them two were swooping in and saying...
Saving the day.
No.
Yeah.
You are not doing this. Mm-hmm. Which is obviously one of the many incidents that happened around this time where he just finally thought, well, I'm going.
Yeah. because nobody respects me or
No.
my
Oh,
decisions.
poor me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but we're glad that he left. Yes, Chad. So Chad and Lisa, I think Lisa's Roxanne's friend.
Her friend with the hat
Yes.
and the glasses.
Yes. They were going to have bigger parts.
Yeah.
And Chad was going to be a bit of a problem for Max originally. But then they obviously scrapped
They wanted to concentrate on
Yeah, and I'm glad.
the road trip and not...
Yeah, because we've seen that, the jock bullying
Yeah.
the geek. We've seen that so many times. So I'm glad they didn't focus on that.
And it would have made the film longer.
Yeah, whereas it's just the right time. And Pete's role was also going to be bigger as well. And he was going to be a trucker who was taunting Goofy the whole road trip. Now, that would have been a bit more classic Pete.
Yeah.
But in the Goof Troop, you know, he's a dad as well.
Yeah.
And PJ's his son,
And they
along
wanted
with...
to carry that on.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, if they're setting it 5 years after that series, they have to continue him as how he is in the series as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he had wife Peg and his daughter Pistol, and I'm assuming the pets are randomly left out, and we don't know why. And the other thing as well, which I found strange when I was writing down the cast, is that it's Max Goof and PJ Pete.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Goofy and Pete are named after their surname.
Yeah. Oh dear.
It's like Mario,
Yeah. It's me.
because that's their surname. It's
Yeah.
Luigi Mario, because it's the Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's
Mario's
true.
the surname.
Yeah, so he's called Mario.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I know. Yeah. Instead of it being produced by what was then known as the Walt Disney Feature Animation, it was developed independently of the company's other features using international satellite studios out of Paris, Australia, Spain and Canada, and it was billed as a Disney movie tune.
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's loads of hidden Mickeys.
Yeah.
And I've written a lot of them down. So on the open, during the open road song, you've got the Mickey head balloons flying up through the sky. He can be seen at least 3 times as a full head to toe character, not just his shape. But he's at the Powerline concert, in the crowd. The show when Max is doing the first song that he does
At the school?
pretending to be Powerline, yeah. When Max is flying down towards Roxanne, you can see him there. And he is standing on the roadside with Donald.
Yeah.
On the open road. And he's also Max's phone on his dresser.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's the same phone we had. Is it the backpack
We
phone?
had the backpack phone.
Yeah. So, yeah. And...
That never worked.
Yeah.
We just had it on show.
And so him and Donald are hitchhikers during the open road song.
Which I'm glad, we don't really see much of them. Because it
Yeah.
would have taken away that this was a Goofy movie,
Exactly.
you know?
And then your Easter eggs, yeah. So the open road song, a limo drives past and a character's waving out the top and it's a white sequin glove.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be Michael Jackson. You've got the Goofy holler, the
Yeah.
at the beginning. Well, he actually does it twice in the movie, but it's that, famous Wilhelm scream.
Yes.
References to Disney characters. So, like Max says, how Goofy's best friend is his best bud, Donald Duck.
Yeah.
And you also see at one point during the film, I think it's towards the end of that open road song, you see a cardboard cutout of Ariel. And you also see plushes of Bambi and Simba in the baby picture when he's at the beginning when Goofy's taking photos of the baby.
Yeah.
You can see the Bambi and Simba plushes. You can see the Aladdin soundtrack. You can also see TikTok Croc. There's references to King Kong, which is what Roxanne's dress is, and also the changing of Max.
Yeah. Because he goes big.
Yeah. But yeah, loads. And yeah,
The nuns.
the nuns. So they're caricatures of Whoopi Goldberg and Kathy Najimy
Yeah, from Sister
from
Act.
Sister Act, because that was obviously out in
92.
92
So
and
if this-
93.
Yeah, Sister Act 2. Yeah.
But yeah, loads of hidden Mickeys and yeah, references to... Oh, and yeah, there was something else that I wrote down. So that Kevin Lemas, his wife, directed Prince of Egypt and Brave.
Oh.
Yeah, so she originally worked for DreamWorks.
Right, okay.
And then
Which Katzenberg went to.
came up with this idea for Brave, because I have watched, I think it's on the Brave DVD.
So is it that Brenda Chapman?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And that is his wife.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, because it's about her relationship with her daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, and on the open road scene, you see loads in that song.
Yeah. I feel like you need to watch it in slow motion.
Yeah, because there's so much. You see the giraffes from Dumbo. They're there as well. But yeah, when you were, you touched on earlier about it being released in the box office, total failure.
Yeah.
Like, made no money. But yes, VHS and DVD sales, and obviously it is a hit on the streaming site Disney Plus. But yeah, it has been very successful out with that.
Yeah, but a lot of films are these days.
Yeah, they make a comeback.
Yeah.
You know, kids are like, oh, Goofy, and they put it on, and then the next minute it's like, oh, it's super popular. And yeah, your boys obviously like it a lot more than my one does. It's not his first choice, because we're not big fans of Goofy. Like, I'm not going to lie. He's somebody I will avoid in the park, because I'm just not... I don't know what it is. I just don't really... I've not warmed to him.
Okay.
Yeah, Goofy's not in my top favourites. He's right down with, like, Pinocchio. Yeah.
I will, even if I've seen him loads, I'll queue up to see him, because he's a good interaction. And the fact that you can get him in so many different outfits.
I think it's just because I find him so silly.
No, the very first time we saw him was like, oh my God, years ago. It was like Christmas 2019. And it was at Walt Disney Studios, and he's dressed as Santa.
He was dressed as Santa, yeah.
And his whiskers tickled Jacob, and we got a photo of Jacob giggling.
Yeah.
Because his whiskers tickled him, which is fab.
But and
he stood in front of me. That was his...
like, comedy.
Yeah, that was his skit during that photo.
Just been like, oh. Right.
I'm standing there laughing behind him, and he's doing his whole...
I just want them to stand next to me and put their arms around me and get the photo.
Oh, boring.
I don't want the
Holly!
theatrics. I'm just like, oh no. And like, funnily enough, Zach's like that as well.
He just wants to stand in pose.
Just wants to do his lean in.
Okay.
And then, okay, the end.
Oh.
He's not into the rubbing of the head and the, the picture of the face. Zach's just like, oh.
He's like, this is so uncool.
I really don't like this. I think the only person he's really, really sort of interacted with in the parks and been like, oh yeah, I'm enjoying this, was probably Darth Vader. But yeah, Goofy... Zach would just be like, no.
Well,
no
we've
thanks.
seen him as Santa.
We've seen him as a cowboy.
Yeah, he's a cowboy. We've had a photo take when he's a scientist, a crazy scientist.
A ski lodge.
Oh yeah, ski lodge Goofy. Now that was a good interaction.
Yeah, well, I felt forced.
I think we'd had a few wines as well.
Yeah.
That helped.
Because I remember when we got back to the room and Zach was like, I thought you didn't like Goofy. And I was like, no, I don't.
But
I was forced.
You loved that interaction.
Yeah, it was good. I've enjoyed it.
That was a good one.
And yeah, we've obviously, I mean, I've not seen him personally, but you will have dressed in his skeleton outfit for Halloween, because I've seen it on or did you not see him?
A Goofy.
Yeah.
We saw him, but we didn't get the interaction.
Get a photo.
No.
But yeah, and obviously in all the parks, he looks and acts the same.
Yes.
He doesn't act as Goofy Goof, Mr. Goofy Goof.
No.
Max's dad.
Clumsy Goof.
He acts as
Yeah.
Goofy. Max, there's from videos that I've seen, and obviously from his first appearance being in the park when the movie was obviously first released, he has changed.
Yeah, he looks more like the Once Upon a Christmas Max.
Yeah.
Rather than Goofy
Movie Max, which is a shame.
Yeah. Because his eyes are really close together.
Yeah.
In the parks.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he normally only comes out in special occasions, like some anniversary parade, like that one that we've watched for, is it the Disneyland Paris 25th anniversary?
Oh,
because
yeah.
even like the Atlantis stars, like literally everybody you could think of, and that was one of the first parades that I'd watched on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, it's Max.
Yeah, well, he's currently in the Halloween.
Yeah.
And him and Goofy are dressed as cowboys.
But he wasn't. As far as I'm aware, he wasn't a regular park character.
No, he just comes out special occasions.
Yeah.
We've met him at Halloween.
Yes.
I can't remember what he dressed up as.
Or was he even dressed up?
Yeah, he was.
He was.
He was, but I can't remember what it was. But that was good. And like Jacob, wow.
But obviously the 4 times that I've been there and I'm away to go there, my 5th, I haven't seen Max. No. He's not been out and about.
You might see him, because you're going at Christmas time.
Yeah, we're going
see him
middle end November.
He's in the parade.
Yeah.
He was when we were there.
Because he does dress as Santa in that Max and Goofy Christmas short that I really like. That's one of the Once Upon a Christmases, I think.
Yeah, Once Upon a Christmas.
And he dresses as Santa and comes down the chimney. I do like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I didn't actually realise how old his character was. So he first appeared in 1951.
Who, Max?
Yes.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. First appeared as Goofy's son back in 1951.
It's like how Mickey's got those nephews.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they
couldn't tell you their names. Is one of them Timothy?
No. No, I don't think so.
Tiny Tim.
No, that's Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Yeah, they're probably just those names like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, didn't realise. I thought he started in Goof Troop.
Yeah, I thought that was when we...
But no, he first appeared in 1951. So he's old.
Wow, he is old.
Yeah, he has a history.
Wow. I bet he features a lot in the comics as well. Mm-hmm. Which wasn't really a thing for us.
No.
But I know
I remember them.
I know in Europe they were big.
Sorry, folks, but yeah, it wasn't a movie that I was a fan of or knew much about or had watched a lot or blah, blah, blah. It literally has only been the last almost 10 years, believe it or not.
I know. Yeah. No, like we have it on a lot, and even now. And sometimes we have to watch the sequel after.
Oof.
Which
would be hard.
I mean, there's worse sequels.
Yeah.
But,
which is going to be something that's going to be coming up in the podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we're definitely going to do the sequels.
Get ready, folks.
So, your score. Are you going to give it out of 5? What would you give it?
Yeah, you know something? Just for how happy it makes the boys, and I do love the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, when the 2 Powerline ones come on my Disney Spotify playlist, I'm like blurting them out, singing them out in the car. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. I wonder if Stephen would approve of that score.
Yeah, he'd probably be like,
I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if it wasn't for the boys...
It wouldn't even be in our lives.
No, I don't. It's not one that I would have chosen.
We'd be in Disneyland Paris and see Max and be like...
Who's that?
No.
But now...
We're like, Max!
Yeah. Like, okay, time.
Yeah.
Right, we're 25 minutes and we get to see him.
We're like shoving little French kids out the way. And they're going like, mama. And I'm going, get out of the way, French child. I need to see Max.
Yeah. But yeah, so no, I give it a 4 because the music is good. And yeah, it's not too long.
Yeah.
It's not boring. There's funny bits in it. And like you say, the Easter eggs are quite good. Especially at that time, with Michael Jackson and the Sister Act Easter eggs. I mean, that's quite good.
But I mean, Sister Act was obviously Touchstone.
Yeah.
So that was Disney.
Yeah.
And it had been a massive hit and obviously made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and it could be that, the animators and the likes of this Kevin Lima and all that were such huge fans. They were maybe like, oh, do me a sketch of like Whoopi and put them in. Because the movie has just been so good.
Yeah.
And they're literally their most recent, Aladdin and Lion King. There was a couple of little bits there.
Because there's even a bit where he passes a music shop and
you see the Aladdin soundtrack.
See the soundtrack from Aladdin, because obviously it started in 93.
Yeah.
And Aladdin came out in 92.
Yeah.
So that was still quite big at the time. This is before Lion King.
Almost, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not saying there obviously aren't other hidden Mickeys and other Easter eggs in the past movies of the podcast that you've done, but it was almost like Goofy Movie really like started kicking this off.
What, Easter eggs?
Yeah. It's like a thing.
They do put the odd one in, but I think this is probably the one with the most so far. The Easter eggs are becoming a thing, but this has got the most so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's a reference to, even outside of the animated films, because they've gone even like pulp culture reference, like Easter eggs in there. Nowadays, if somebody was to watch this, they wouldn't get that nun reference, and they wouldn't get the sparkling glove reference. No. So,
or her like King Kong dress.
Yeah, they're not really part of current pop culture now.
No,
they're dying.
And I think this movie will probably serve its time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
this isn't going to be a movie that we're going to be speaking about in 10 years.
No.
It's going to get lost in the...
Unless it's...
Disney movie database. Like, the Disney cloud.
I don't know, I think because, like, now, they've even... Because of, obviously, that panel that they did about, 7 years ago at the Expo, I read that at the time of that expo, they even had George Lucas talking about Star Wars in another panel. But the Goofy Movie panel was so popular that they had hundreds of people outside who couldn't get in because they'd filled. So it's definitely got
a big following.
Yeah. And now on special, when they have special events at Disneyland, like a 90s night or a themed night.
Powerline's there.
Max dressed as Powerline is there.
Well, I mean, even because me and Matt are just really sad this way, like, not only do we love watching the merchandise videos for all the Disneylands and the rides and the shows and everything, we've started watching, like, Comic-Con videos. And, he is
always
somebody that you will see as a character at the Comic-Cons.
Yeah, definitely. So, no, I don't know if it all... I think it's not...
It's not going to stand the test of time.
No.
It's not.
It will eventually become one of those where it's like, oh, God, Disney made that.
If Zach has children, they will not know this movie.
No, I mean, I'm surprised some of the films that our boys do enjoy.
Yeah.
That I didn't think they would, because we felt they're a bit
Steamboat
dated.
Willie.
I know. But
like, Jacob, put that off!
We've seen Get a Horse 3 times now.
I can't watch it again.
No. But yeah, and who knows how much longer
I can't watch Mickey's Christmas Carol anymore.
It's July.
He's ruined it he's ruined so many.
Oh,
he really has.
Jacob, yeah. Right, on that note, it's we've managed to keep this to an hour.
Yeah, because I couldn't believe it when I was going through the trivia. I was like, oh my God, there's so much on this film.
Yeah.
It was mad.
Because of all the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Right, well, folks, thanks for listening, and hope you've been able to tell the difference between myself and Holly. And yeah, Holly will be back.
Yeah.
Stephen will be back in next week's podcast as well. And yeah, remember and follow us on social media, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can also listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and YouTube as well. TTFN, as Stephen would say.
Yeah, ta-ta for now.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.